This is Mary Lewis at A Tiny Homestead, the podcast comprised entirely of conversations with homesteaders, cottage food producers, and crafters. Today I'm talking with Katy at Old Skye Farms. Good morning, Katy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Tell me about yourself and Old Skye Farms, because I know you have a lot going on right now.
We do have a lot going on, but I feel like we're just getting started and don't know where to start, but we're starting.
Yep.
So we moved from Florida almost 2 years ago to North Carolina. So we went from like 0.26 acres to 23.
Nice.
And it's been a lot of cleanup and fixing structures and getting things ready for livestock and animals and all of those sorts of things. But we're just now getting into agritourism.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to make that work for us on the farm. We just had our first big event, which was an Easter egg hunt, and that turned out pretty good. We have currently 9 Nigerian dwarf goats. 3 of them are they're kind of babies. They're almost like teenagers now. And about 30 something adult chickens, and then of course it's chick season, so we have probably like 20 chicks right now. And the next thing we're adding are Highland cows in May, which we're really excited about.
How many?
2 babies, so they're half siblings.
Fun.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to that, and the experiences that we could, open up to people with them.
Sure. Agritourism is basically using what you have at your farm to have people come in and see how the farm works or having events at the farm. Yes?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. We're, still new to it too, but I did join. North Carolina has something called the Agrotourism Networking Association. So it's basically farms from all over the state that do all sorts of things like hay rides, you pick, or just, come visit the farm for camp or field trips, things like that.
The fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's been a really good resource, especially just starting out. And they had their annual conference in February. And one of the main things learning was just like there can be so many farms, but a family can visit each farm a different weekend and see something, like experience something different completely. And just that there's room enough for everybody to succeed.
Yeah. Okay, so I know what you were doing this morning because you told me in messages
Oh,
and I
yes.
saw on Facebook, but can you tell the listeners what you and your husband were up to this morning?
Yeah, so we were working on converting what was cropland into pasture. So my husband spent all week using a chain drag in our UTV because we don't have a tractor yet to prep the soil. And this morning we were seeding it also with our UTV and then a hand spreader. So it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, so what time were you guys up and at 'em to do this morning?
Well, I have a almost 2-year-old daughter, so once my mom came to watch her, we went out. So probably, we were up around 6, but probably got out there around 8.
Okay. The reason I ask is because farming and homesteading and ranching, whatever term you want to use,
Yeah.
is real work. It's not
Yes.
just, oh yay, we're having baby cows or we're getting baby cows or oh the chicks are cute.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work when you're doing it.
It is a lot of work, and yeah, I'm just very thankful for my husband too, because it would just be a lot harder. So those that are doing it by themselves, I give them a lot of props.
Yeah, I'm not doing it by myself. My husband and my 22-year-old son right this second are outside putting in I don't know what they're called. They're like pavers, but they're actually tall and they have an X in the top so that you can put things in that X to make a foundation.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The wood goes into the X's, and they're beginning the build on our heated greenhouse. I'm so excited.
That is
And
exciting. I had listened to one of your previous ones, and I heard that you got a grant, which we're also working to try and get a grant for a hoop house to do
uh-huh.
produce and stuff.
Yep, and hoop houses are great, but I really, really, really wanted a solid greenhouse, if that
Yeah.
makes sense,
Yes.
because we've lost one hoop house to the wind, and I was just like, I can't watch another one blow over. I will just cry.
Yeah.
And so when I saw that there was a grant available and I told my husband about it, he was like, "You should apply for that."
Yeah, I think
And
that's awesome.
I said, "Okay, I'm going to apply for it." And I didn't have a hope in hell of getting it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we were ready. And apparently they did think we were ready. So they're starting the build today, and they were supposed to start it a month ago, but then we got snow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my husband was like, "We're gonna be hitting the starting the greenhouse first thing in the morning." He was telling me this last night.
That's awesome.
And I said, "Great." I said, "I'm gonna be hitting the podcast with Old Skye Farms at 10 o'clock in the morning." And he said, "Okay, well, we'll let the dog out with us and it'll be quiet. You can record and we're gonna go build a greenhouse." I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
So very exciting things happening here too. And it is tomorrow's the last day of March. So
Right.
we are all rolling into busy season.
Yes. Yeah. But that's awesome about the greenhouse and that you're going to have it heated because I'm sure it's pretty cold.
It's very well. I don't know if you've heard me talk about this on the podcast, but this winter has not been terrible. We had a week in January where it was very, very cold, like minus teens, minus 20s
Mhm.
overnight. And it was only a week. And other than that, it's been an extended fall, basically.
Yeah.
We got maybe, I mean, this last snow probably brought us to a little over a foot of snow total for the winter.
Mhm.
So this winter has been lovely as far as winters go. Um, but it still hasn't been warm enough to grow anything in the ground
Yeah.
outside. So we're real excited to be able to get the babies into the greenhouse, the seedlings that we're starting
Yeah.
in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and then extend the growing season into November, December
Right.
later this
That's
year.
yeah, that's going to be great for you guys.
So it's really, really, really cool, and we're really excited, and I should probably stop because I could talk about it for an hour and a
No,
half.
it's fine. That's awesome. It's good to have things you're excited about.
Yeah, I got asked in an email from a person that is a principal of a private, I think it's a religious school, like a
Mhm.
church school,
Mhm.
if we could supply them with leafy greens and carrots and stuff for
Oh,
salad
wow.
during the school year. And this was like a year ago, over a year
Mhm.
ago now. And I was like, I am so honored that you asked, but we don't grow anything in the wintertime because it's
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, yeah." I said, "If you want stuff in the summer,
Mhm.
we could certainly do that." And so I think this year we probably are going to be providing some stuff for that school for a take-home program while the kids
Mhm.
are out of school.
Yeah.
I have to email him like Monday and confirm that. And I'm hoping that we do because that would be really fun. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
and then hopefully this fall we'll be able to put in fall cold crops
Mhm.
that they can use.
Yeah.
Um, but I had to ask him to make sure that he checked with the ag department here and the state
Right.
because
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to tell you we can do it and then you get hand slapped by the government saying you
Mhm.
can't do that.
Right.
So he did, and it's all good. And I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do it because it'll be farm to school, not just farm to table.
Yeah, that's great. That's one of the things I really want to work on here is getting the kids out here, especially the ones that don't get to see farm life every day, like that don't know eggs come from chickens or
Uh-huh.
milk comes from cows. I think it's really important.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I didn't realize that there were people who didn't know that eggs came from chickens and milk
Yeah.
came from cows. And when I heard about it, like probably 15, 20 years ago,
Mhm.
I don't remember how I heard this story, but I had a moment of, are you kidding me?
Right.
I know there are little golden books about chickens and cows
Yeah,
that get read to kids when they're little, so
that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. And every time someone says something like that or I say it, I feel like I'm insulting people who don't know.
Right, because I don't want to make them feel bad. Things happen, but I want maybe to be the segue for them to learn about them.
Yeah, let's go with that. And and Lord knows I don't know everything about everything. There are
Yes.
every
No,
single
me.
day, every single
Mm-hmm.
day I learn something new that I'm like, "Oh, huh, that's where that came."
Right. Yeah.
So, we have a big old brain in our heads. We only use about 10% of it consciously. There's
Mm-hmm.
90% left that makes all these little connections in the back all the time and you go, "Oh, that's where that came from."
Right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, how did the planting go? Is you guys are going to do it all day?
Yeah. I thought, well, we could only go so fast with the UTV just because, he's using the crank seed spreader. So I can't go, really fast. So it will probably be after we're done here, we got to go back out.
Okay. So I saw that you have an event coming up in July. What's that event?
The summer camp?
I think so. Something about
Yeah, yeah,
biologist Katy.
yeah. Which is so weird for me to say because I have a, BS in biology, but I'm just not the type of person that likes to talk about myself like that.
Uh-huh.
But I am a biologist, so part of that what we were talking about, introducing kids that don't know, about the eggs come from chicken, milk comes from cows, but my love is ornithology and birds
Mhm.
and all of the natural things. So I really wanted to bring that to kids this year. I think it would be a really good camp. So
Okay.
that's what we're going to try to do.
Okay. And how do people sign up for it on your website?
Yeah, so I'm working, right. One of the things we're working on is finding a platform for tickets that doesn't charge a crazy amount for the consumer and also doesn't charge to take money from us as well.
Mhm.
So once I think I found a few that I'm working the kinks out, but it will be through our website, which you can get to at oldskyfarms.com or also on Facebook. We have a link there as well.
Okay. And is it a stay overnight camp or is it a day camp?
No, it's a day camp. I'm actually due to give birth in
Oh,
June.
my.
Um, so the newest one is a boy, so he'll be probably attached to me
Yep.
during these camps, but it'll be from 8 to 1, and then Monday through Friday.
Okay. And are you comfortable telling how much it costs to be part of it?
Sure, we're gonna do 250 per kid, uh, or per child, and $100 sibling discount. So if they have multiple children coming, trying to help the parents out a little bit.
And it's a week.
Yes, and
Okay.
we're gonna have 2 weeks, but a week at a time. Yeah,
Okay. Awesome. That sounds like fun. Do you have other children?
yeah. So my daughter will be 2 in May.
Oh, you are gonna be a busy, busy mama in
I
July.
know I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I can do it.
Don't forget to get some sleep because you want to be able to remember the time with your 2-year-old and your newborn.
Yes, I know. I'm gonna try. Well, thankfully, Kyle's gonna take off. He works full time in Raleigh, and I'll probably have a helper with me as well because that'll be a lot. um,
Yeah, your husband's name is Kyle?
yes, Kyle.
Mine too.
Oh, really? That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a family name. His grandparents on his mom's side, it's their last name. So,
Oh, that's neat.
yep. So he's the only Kyle first name out of all the kids. There's also a cousin named Kylie. She's a girl.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, technically Kyle's first name is Brendan after his dad, but there was a lot of confusion, so he went by his middle name, Kyle.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah,
I
but
understand. You have no idea how much I understand.
and then at the summer camp, he's a carpenter, so we're gonna spend a day doing building bluebird houses or some sort of wood project as well, because I think that's super cool too.
Nice. That's going to be fun for the kids.
I hope so, yeah.
The reason I say I understand is because my name is Mary Evelyn, but I am actually known to my friends when I was younger and my family as Lynn because
Oh,
I was named after both my grandmothers. And
okay.
my mom really wanted me to be Mary, and my dad really wanted me to be Evelyn.
Mm-hmm.
And so they settled on Mary Evelyn, but within weeks they were calling me Lynn.
Oh, that's cute. That's
And
funny.
and I kind of miss Lynn because that's the name I grew up being called, but
Yes.
I had so many times where I had to sign paperwork and I had to sign Mary E.
Yeah.
And I finally was just like, never mind, I'll just go by Mary. So so one of these times I'm debating switching over to Lynn for
Mm-hmm.
for personal stuff or like the podcast eventually. I don't know, it might be weird for people. So, but I totally get it, the whole name
The
confusion thing.
name thing, yeah.
Yep, and there aren't very many people who are in that situation. So tell
No.
him I feel his pain about the nicknames and the other names.
I will, because he's told me many times his dad used to get mail and then he would get frustrated because it was actually for Kyle, not the dad. But
Yep.
well, and then Kyle was always like, "Well, you named me, so what did you expect?"
So is he a Kyle Jr.? No, he's not a
No,
Kyle Jr. Sorry.
no, mm-mm. Yeah, so it's Brendan Kyle,
Okay,
but
got it.
yeah, no junior.
Okay. I wander into the weirdest discussions with this podcast. Our names have nothing to do with homesteading, but here we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you guys do? You said you have chickens and you're getting the Highlands, is that right?
Yes, the Highland cows in May. So we have an egg stand out by the driveway that's you know, self-serve.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright pink so that people will hopefully stop and buy eggs because we have a surplus, which I'm sure almost everybody with chickens probably does right now.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then we are working on doing bees. We just signed up to do a bee class in our county. My husband built an elevated uh, stand for the hive so that hopefully their flight path goes over people's heads instead of like directly at them.
That's helpful.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. And then we also want to do an apple orchard because around here you have to drive probably around an hour and a half to get to the closest you pick apple orchard.
Yeah.
So I think it would be really cool to have. It'll be a high density apple orchard, so it's only going to be an acre, but a lot of trees.
You can have a lot of trees on an acre.
Yeah.
I don't have you done any research into this yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We're still in the, research planning, getting everything together stages. So we have like the types we want and, what can cross pollinate and all those sorts of things. It's
Okay.
just getting to the final steps.
Okay. We got apple trees when we moved here 3.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that we have been buying apples from forever who has a big orchard gave us 6 apple trees
Nice.
as a housewarming present. We've known him
Yeah.
forever. And I had asked him if he had any babies for sale. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, I've got honey golds and I've got Harrelson and I've got Regent. And I said, well, how much would you sell me some for to plant at our new place? And he was like, I'm not selling them to you. I'm giving them to you.
That's really nice.
I said, you don't have to do that. He was like, I want to. He said, I'm very excited for you guys. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So my husband and my sons ran up and got them, and we put them in the first fall we were here. So we moved in August, planted apple trees in October of 2020. We got our first edible apples last spring, so a year
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
So, and he said that we might get apples from the honeygolds the following year,
Uh-huh.
but they really do need time to
Right.
acclimate to their new home, and
Yes.
they need time to build up their reserves again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that holds true for all apple trees, but just keep in mind that you might not have apples for a couple of years.
Oh, yes, we know.
Okay.
Yeah, we've looked at it and we're gonna have, I think he's calculated 210 apple trees and they're gonna be the dwarf fruit apple trees.
Good. Yeah.
But yeah, we know it's gonna take a few years at least to actually bear fruit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we were very happy to see the honeygolds this past fall.
yeah, I'd be really excited too.
And the other thing is that I'm assuming you've done the research on how to take care of the baby apples as they grow so that they don't get bug eaten.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, good.
We're trying to make sure we kind of have all of our bases covered, but I
Mhm.
know once you start something, I'm sure something will come up that we didn't expect.
Yeah, I rarely ever have advice for anyone I talk to on the podcast because you guys usually know more than I do. But having just gone through this over the last 3 years with these trees, and we're not growing an orchard, we just wanted apple trees. We've always
Right,
wanted
yeah.
apple trees, so
Hmm.
we've learned a couple things along the way.
Yeah,
And
no, we're completely, noobs pretty much. So if any advice, I will take it.
okay, and bugs love baby apples.
Okay, well,
It
good
does
to know.
it does not matter what kind of apple you plant, the bugs are
Hmm.
going to find them. And the thing that we realized is that we had to spray them with something.
Yeah,
And so we looked into it and we found out that neem oil is actually pretty good at repelling the bugs. And
good to
neem
know.
oil is not a bad thing. I mean, I'd rather not put anything on them, but if we had to
Right,
pick
but
something,
sometimes you have to.
yeah.
And we've used the neem oil for we have Japanese maple trees that got some bugs on them, so we use that for them too.
Yeah, neem oil is a miracle thing. I didn't know about it until probably 10 years ago, and it seems to do the job on a lot of
Hmm.
insects. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, whatever. We'd talk about that all day too, but we're probably not going to. So an apple orchard sounds absolutely wonderful. You guys are going to have the most lovely agritourism spot ever.
I hope so. I mean, this is our forever dream. So
Mhm.
we're hoping to make it somewhat self-sufficient and make a little extra because I'm staying home with the babies. So we'll
And
need it.
that's amazing because not so many people have that. I don't want to use the word luxury, but I'm going to
No,
use it.
I completely agree. I am privileged in that sense that I get to stay home.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people choose this lifestyle because they can be with their kids.
Right. Yeah. Like I think everybody thinks their kids are probably the smartest kid in the world. And I'm not saying my daughter is, but I feel like if I hadn't had this time with her, I don't think she'd be where she is now, intelligence wise. And
Yeah,
just curiosity, like learning about the bugs and the trees and the birds and everything outside.
absolutely. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until I was 15, I think,
Hmm.
and I'm the oldest of three. So my brother was probably 12.
Yeah.
He's the youngest. And it was great because we left the house in the morning and she was home and we got home from school and she was home. We didn't
Right.
end up doing that latchkey kid thing that people of my generation did. I'm 54, so you can figure it out. 80s.
Yeah. Well, my mom was a single mom, so I was often, getting myself, together on the bus and stuff. She's a nurse, so it wasn't easy hours or anything. But I'm really happy, and she's happy for me that I get to stay with my daughter.
I bet she is. I bet she's elated for you because
Yeah.
it's such a special time from the time that they're born until they're about 3. There's so much learning that's happening and so
Yeah,
much.
she's just a little
I
sponge.
was just gonna say they're
Yeah,
little sponges and they soak up everything.
they do. They really do.
So
The good
yay.
things and the bad things.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. I
Yeah.
remember the first time my daughter said a swear word. I think she was 3, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, you went longer than we have because
Uh-huh.
Tegan
Yeah.
has already dropped some words.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was, but she said it and I looked at her. I was like, "What?" And she grinned at me and said it again, and I was like, "Let's not say that word." She said, "But you say it." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yes, I do." Okay. Yep. Maybe I should not say that word in front of
Yeah,
you anymore ever again.
that's cute.
But parenting is an honor. I think for me it's an honor. And my kids are grown and I still just smile inside when my kids call and say, "Mom," or "Mama," or
Mhm.
"Hey you,
Yeah.
I did this thing," or "I have a problem," or whatever, and
Yeah.
they want to talk it through with me.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't want to say I can't wait, but I am I'm just happy I get to be her mom and this other little one's mom.
Yeah. Yep. How are you doing with having to do all the chores on the farm and being this close to due? Because I'm sure that you're feeling it.
I am. Things are starting to get pretty sore now, and it. I'm tired, but
Mhm.
most days when she goes down for a nap, I end up napping too, because that's just the only way I'm gonna get through the day.
Good.
Yeah,
Good. Good.
but no, I'm doing okay. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of the other things.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn.
Yep.
But yeah,
You cannot do it all the time.
right. Yeah. I
So
think as women, especially though, we want to try and just make everything happen, but it's not possible.
there are only so many hours in the day, and there are only so many energy reserves in your body. And if you
Yes.
add that up, you have to find a balance somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
So been through three pregnancies, I remember, and I wasn't running a farm.
Yeah.
I was growing a human, and
Yeah.
that was enough for
That's
me.
enough. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I don't even say pregnant anymore. I say growing a human because when you put it in the terms of growing a human, the weight and the gravity of that feat
Situation and
it
yeah,
is huge.
it
So,
is. Yes. Yeah.
but anyway. Okay, so what's the goal for the farm? I mean, I assume that you guys are trying to make it so that you live there forever and you raise your kids and you grow the farm while you grow your kids.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our ultimate goal, just to be successful in creating enough income that hopefully, Kyle can stay home and run the farm full time and not have to drive an hour to work every day and then come home and also do chores. So,
Yep.
yeah, just to be successful and raise the kids here and learn about nature and farming and everything.
Okay. So I'm sure that you don't want this to run too long, so I've got one more big question for you, and then we'll probably be good. How did you guys decide to do this? Because I didn't hear that when I asked you at the beginning.
I probably didn't answer it.
I don't know if I asked, actually, but
No, I
go
think
ahead.
you did. You told me how to start, but I probably went off in some random
That's okay.
direction. We always knew kind of that North Carolina was going to be our end state because I'm originally from Southern Maryland. Kyle's originally from Prince Edward Island, Canada.
Mhm.
Um, and we lived in Florida for 13 years. So we definitely wanted to come north, but he wasn't willing to go all the way back north to PEI.
Yeah.
So and then North Carolina is only about 3 hours from where I'm from in Maryland. So that's how this ended up being uh like the location we chose.
Mhm.
As for like the farm, we knew we wanted acreage because in Florida, you're just where we were, you're just on top of each other, and we wanted room to breathe and raise our children. And once we sold that house, we were able to purchase this with the land. Um, so that's kind of how we had no idea where Wilson was or like what is here. But so far, everybody's been very nice and welcoming. And our property, I mean, I think it's beautiful. It's something we just want to keep working at.
So is the entire area where you are really pretty?
I think so. It's still a very large producer of tobacco.
Okay.
Um, and we're in a rural part, but we're still like only an hour away from Raleigh, which is like somewhat of a bigger city. Um, but not everybody has the amount of land, and I know we're very thankful to have what we have.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people in North Carolina and South Carolina on this
Hmm.
podcast because apparently that's where everybody goes to homestead. Who knew?
Really?
But it sounds like it's really beautiful. It sounds like the weather is pretty temperate. The winters aren't extremely cold. Clearly, you're in
Right.
the south, so
One
it
of
seems. Yeah, go ahead.
the main things that we liked here was, excuse me, you can go it kind of has everything. It has the farmland, it has a city, it has the coast, and then it also has the mountains. So if we wanted to do a weekend trip to any of those, we could do so in the same state. So I
Nice.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I grew up in Maine and I was half an hour from the ocean and half an hour from the White Mountains.
That's awesome.
So once I got a driver's license, I was like, I need to go see these places because
Yeah,
that wasn't a thing we really, really did as a family because it costs money
right.
and everybody was doing different things when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now I live in Minnesota and the most exciting hill I know of doesn't exist in Minnesota. I haven't found it yet. And the biggest body of water is Lake Superior. And
Yeah.
I think I've been there once and it's like looking out over the ocean, but it's not
Yeah.
the ocean. So
Right.
so I kind of shifted from hilly ocean and mountains to flatlands and corn and alfalfa
Yeah.
and I don't know, tree lines, I guess, because where I live, there's not a whole lot of forest, as it were.
Uh-huh.
It's tree lines around the farms. So,
Okay.
but anyway, um, Katie, I really appreciate you taking time out to talk with me, and I know you got to get back to planting your field, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you go. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.